So this is the video showcasing how to set up this automatic invoice parser. Basically what I'm doing is I'm going to make.com, making an account, all that good jazz, but then I'm starting with this email module. You see how I set it up here, and then I go and make an iterator and click the attachments button. So the reason I do the iterator is because if you decide, or if someone sends multiple invoices attached to one email, this allows it to read every single one instead of just the first one. Then I do the PDF module. So ChatGPT right now within Make cannot process files because even within ChatGPT on the website, it uses something else to basically turn the PDF into text and then analyzes it. So what PDF is going to do for us is it's basically going to act as that intermediary step that basically, like in between the PDF to text, right, is what it's doing. Right, that's all it's doing. I keep using fancy words, but yeah, you're going to do PDF to text because that other option I've found causes some errors. And then after this, all you're really just going to do is you're going to now put a ChatGPT module to follow it. You're going to press create a completion. You're going to have to connect to an OpenAI. So the way you're going to do this is you're going to go to just the OpenAI website, right? You're going to log in with whatever email you need to use, right? And then from there, you would need to log in, sign up for an account, and then you're going to go to API keys on the bottom here. And then you're going to create a new secret key. And you're going to just copy and paste it in there. I would name it something different so you know which ones you're using, right? It'll create the connection, wait for it to load. Yep, boom, there you go. And then now I just use ChatGPT 4.0. I always set the temperature to like something below 0.5 because I don't really want creative dynamic responses from ChatGPT. That's what temperature does. Temperature will determine how random or strict the actual AI model is. And this is just the way I'm prompting the AI is just what I've found to work consistently the best. I haven't exactly tried and tested whether or not certain things can be cut out, but from my experience, giving it a role, giving it context, giving it a task, giving it an example output format, and then giving it like some important notes or rules, I found that that's what makes it the best. So as you can see, I'm telling ChatGPT, hey, like you're gonna get an invoice that has been transcribed into text, right? And then output the following into JSON format. So JSON is a type of code, and what JSON allows us to basically do is it allows us to use each individual object, at least within Make, as a variable. So in the next module, which you'll see once I'm done setting this up, is that you'll be able to see I can use each individual value, whether it's invoice amount, invoice number, date, and send it dynamically into an email. So even if those values change, because it's reading a different PDF, it will still just it'll send the right variables basically. And then I press body object value because I already know that that's where the variable is going to be stored because I set this up before. But that's the variable you're going to want to use. Again, this could be totally like there could be a better way of doing this. This is just the way I've found works for me to do it. And then the yes or no doesn't really matter because I'm using Gmail, but yeah, and then the subject line, I would like to send it as plain text, so there's a lower likelihood that it goes to spam. HTML can sometimes be like flagged as spam from what I understand about email marketing. So yeah, and then right here I'm going to need to set it as a JSON object, and then the next thing I need to actually do is I need to run this OpenAI model once so that the unique variables actually will load at least once. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change the actual stored variable because like I still have not figured out why I can't just input something as an example when it's a nested sequence. So it's like a thing like object value. So I'm just going to hit like data. And then I'll just input something kind of random. And if this works as intended, results, boom, there we go. So then now we can actually refer to these in the email. So sometimes this will happen. Make sure you save and then just you sometimes have to refresh the page to make sure the variables actually load in. So alright, so it's loaded in. Boom, go to content. Content is, by the way, that's where the email like body is, right? And so boom, I press the variable of date, invoice number, and invoice amount, and this will dynamically insert it. And then if there isn't a value for those, it'll just leave it blank. So now if I try running this, save it first. And because of how I set it up, it'll actually mark it as red, so it won't do the same invoice over and over again. And now, okay, so what I've done wrong here is I forgot to change the actual, I forgot to change what it's reading as the variable. It's still like the data, which is not the correct variable it needs to read. It needs to read object values, which you can see right there is like a bunch of text. So I'm just going to mark this as unread so I can just use it again, save it, run it again, and this should just run. Boom, it's marked as red. And make has completed, and there we go. So there's your invoice amount, date of invoice, invoice number pulled from the PDF.